Have you ever taken a photo that looked perfect on your iPhone but strange when you checked it later? The sky was completely white. The face looked too processed. The background blur looked fake. Or the video looked sharp, but the movement did not feel natural. Most people blame the camera sensor. Some blame Apple software. But the real problem may be a tiny physical part inside the camera, a part that Apple has kept almost unchanged for years. The latest iPhone 18 Pro leaks say Apple is finally changing it, and this could affect portraits, group photos, night shots, outdoor video. Even the way motion looks when you record in bright sunlight. I will explain that change later. Because first, we need to talk about the other leaks. One of them sounds impressive but may make almost no difference. Another could improve battery life without Apple adding a much larger battery. And one hidden modem detail means the iPhone 18 Pro you buy in America may not be the same internally as the version sold in other countries. So before deciding that this is the same iPhone again, look at the problem your current phone actually gives you. Is it the battery, the signal, night photography, or photos that look too processed? Keep your answer in mind, because by the end, you will know whether Apple is fixing your problem or someone else's. It may look almost the same. Let us remove the biggest misunderstanding first. The iPhone 18 Pro is not expected to receive a complete redesign. The screen sizes are expected to remain 6.3 inches for the Pro and 6.9 inches for the Pro Max. The large rear camera area is also expected to remain. So when the first images appear online, many people will say, that is just the iPhone 17 Pro again. And visually, they may have a point. The major design change is reportedly being saved for a later anniversary iPhone, but the front may look cleaner. Apple is expected to move part of the Face ID system beneath the display. That should make the dynamic island smaller, not completely gone, just less distracting. Now think about how you use your phone. Do you still notice the dynamic island? Or has your brain already learned to ignore it? Because if you stopped noticing it months ago, a smaller island is not a reason to spend more money. It is nice, but it is not the big fix. The battery leak is more interesting than it looks. The next leak initially sounds disappointing. The iPhone 18 Pro's battery may barely grow. Chinese regulatory information points to about 4056 mAh for the Chinese model. The American eSIM model may use about 4288 mAh. Compared with the iPhone 17 Pro, that is an increase of only 1.7% in China and less than 1% in America. That is almost nothing. So why are reports still predicting longer battery life? Because Apple may be attacking battery drain from the other side. Instead of only making the battery larger, it may make the phone waste less energy. The new A20 Pro is expected to use TSMC 2 nanometer process. TSMC says its N2 technology can deliver around 10% to 15% more speed at the same power, or use roughly 25% to 30% less power at the same speed, compared with its previous generation. Those are manufacturer and process figures, not guaranteed iPhone battery results. That difference matters. A larger battery gives you more energy. A more efficient chip stops throwing that energy away. Think about the times your battery falls quickly. Recording video, using navigation, uploading over 5G, playing a game, editing photos. Those tasks keep the processor working. If a 20 Pro performs the same work using less power, battery life can improve even when the physical battery barely changes. The chip is also expected to use a new packaging design that places important components and memory closer together. That may reduce power use and improve performance during AI, gaming, and camera processing. But let me ask you something. Would you prefer a much larger battery and a heavier phone? Or the same size phone that simply wastes less power? That answer is why battery capacity alone never tells the full story. The Pro Max is getting a very different upgrade. Here is something many videos will miss. The battery story is not the same across both Pro models. The regular iPhone 18 Pro may receive less than a 1% increase in the United States. The Pro Max could receive nearly 500 mAh more. The leaked figures show around 1,567 mAh for the American Pro Max, compared with 5,088 mAh in the previous model. That is close to a 10% increase. So Apple may be creating a clear choice. The regular Pro stays easier to carry. The Pro Max becomes the battery machine. That sounds logical. But it also means buyers who want the smaller phone may still have to accept less endurance. Which one matters more to you? A phone that feels comfortable in one hand, or a phone you can abuse all day without watching the battery percentage? That argument will probably become much bigger after the launch. A hidden difference between countries. Now we reach one of the stranger leaks. Apple is expected to introduce its new C2 modem, but every iPhone 18 Pro may not use it. Leak component information suggests international models could use Apple's C2 modem. The American model may continue using Qualcomm hardware because Apple's modem may still lack the millimeter wave support required for the US version. So two phones can look identical. They can have the same name, the same cameras, the same processor, but different modem hardware inside. Most people will never notice. But the modem affects signal, mobile data speed, heat, and battery drain when coverage is weak. You probably know this situation. Your phone has one signal bar, nothing is loading, the phone becomes warm, and the battery starts dropping faster. That happens because maintaining a weak network connection requires extra work. A more efficient modem could reduce that drain. But until both versions are tested, nobody can honestly say which model will perform better. This is the kind of detail that will not appear in Apple's main presentation. It will appear later in real-world testing. The satellite rumor needs a reality check reports also connect the new modem with more advanced satellite connectivity. Some claims suggest future web access may work when Wi-Fi and normal cellular networks are unavailable, but full satellite internet is not officially confirmed. So do not picture yourself watching YouTube from the middle of a desert yet. The more realistic first step would be expanded messaging, location sharing, and selected data services. Still, the direction matters. Your phone becomes more useful in the exact places where normal phones stop working. Would you use satellite data every day? Probably not. Could it matter enormously during one emergency or trip? Absolutely. But this is not the biggest fix either. The camera control button may become simpler. Another leak says Apple may simplify the camera control button. The current combination of touch gestures, pressure, and haptic feedback can be easy to activate incorrectly. Apple may remove the touch-sensitive layer and keep pressure control only. That sounds like Apple admitting something. More controls do not always create more control. Sometimes they create more accidental input. Have you ever tried adjusting the camera and changed the wrong setting? Or press the button while holding the phone and open something you did not want? Then this small change may feel better than a new feature. It is not exciting, it is practical. And practical fixes usually age better than launch day tricks. Now the camera problem, let us return to the photo from the beginning. The bright sky, the strange movement, the artificial background, the group photo where one person was sharp and another was soft. Every iPhone camera has had one major physical limitation. The lens opening stays fixed. The phone can change the shutter speed. It can change ISO. It can combine several images. It can brighten shadows. It can rebuild detail with software. But the physical opening controlling how much light enters the main camera does not change. That means software has to solve almost everything after the light reaches the sensor. And sometimes, software goes too far. This is the problem Apple may finally fix. A variable aperture main camera, the iPhone 18 Pro is expected to receive a variable aperture on its 48 megapixel main camera. The opening inside the lens could physically become larger or smaller. That gives the camera another way to control light before software touches the image. Here is why that matters. You are filming outside in bright sunlight. A fixed wide aperture lets in too much light. The phone raises the shutter speed to compensate. The image stays bright enough, but movement can look sharp and unnatural. A smaller aperture could reduce the light physically. That may allow the phone to keep more natural motion blur without requiring an external filter. Now take a group photo. One person is closer to the camera. Another person stands farther back. A smaller aperture can increase the area that appears in focus. More faces may look naturally sharp. Now take a portrait. A wider aperture can create stronger optical separation between the person and the background. Not only software cutting around hair and glasses, real light, real optics. Then take a photo at night. A wider opening lets more light reach the sensor. That can reduce the amount of aggressive brightening and noise removal the software needs to perform. That is why this leak matters. It does not simply add another camera mode. It changes how the camera captures the image before processing begins. But do not expect DSLR magic. Here is the honest part. Smartphone sensors are small. Because of that, changing the aperture may not create the same dramatic depth of field difference you get from a large professional camera. Even Mac Rumors notes that the practical improvement could be limited by the iPhone sensor size. So variable aperture will not turn every photo into a cinema shot. It will not remove the need for computational photography. And it will not automatically make the iPhone the world's best camera phone. But it gives Apple something it has never had before: physical control over light. The lens can make a decision before the processor begins guessing. That is the biggest fix. Not because aperture sounds professional, because it may reduce the situations where the iPhone has to fake the result. Think about the photos you dislike most. Do they fail because the camera lacks detail? Or because the phone made the wrong decision about how the scene should look? That is the difference this feature is trying to solve. The zoom camera may also improve. The main camera may not be the only change. Reports also point toward improvements to the telephoto system. A wider aperture would allow more light into the zoom camera. That could help during concerts, indoor events, night portraits, and distant shots after sunset. Those are exactly the moments when phone zoom usually falls apart. During daylight, almost every flagship can produce an impressive zoom image. The real test begins when the light disappears. Would you prefer a bigger maximum zoom number or cleaner 3x and 5x images at night? Most people would probably use the second improvement far more often. The iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max are expected in September 2026. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman reportedly considers September 8 the most likely announcement date, with September 9 as the second possibility. The normal iPhone 18 is expected later in spring 2027. That means Apple's September event may focus on the Pro models and its first foldable iPhone. Apple has not confirmed the event date, but we are now close enough that the major hardware designs should already be locked. The remaining uncertainty is which tested camera features Apple includes in the final shipping model. Price: there is no official price. One analyst estimate suggests the Pro models could cost up to $200 more. That could place the iPhone 18 Pro near $1,299 and the Pro Max near $1,399, depending on Apple's final storage and pricing strategy. This is a prediction, not a confirmed leak, and at that price the argument changes. A smaller dynamic island is not enough. A new color is not enough. Even a faster chip is not enough by itself. The camera must produce results you can actually see. The battery must last longer during heavy use. And the modem must improve real-world connectivity. So here is the question Apple needs to answer. At $1,299, what problem must disappear before you consider the upgrade worth it? Not which new feature looks cool. Which old frustration must finally go? The iPhone 18 Pro may look familiar. That part of the criticism is fair. The display sizes are expected to stay the same. The camera layout will remain recognizable, and the dynamic island may become smaller rather than disappear. But the important upgrades are happening beneath that familiar design. The A20 Pro may use less power. The modem strategy may improve connectivity and efficiency. The camera control button may become simpler, and the main camera may finally gain a variable aperture. That last feature targets a limitation every previous iPhone camera has carried: a fixed lens opening. Until now, software has been forced to make most of the decisions. The iPhone 18 Pro may finally let the optics do more of the work. That could mean more natural video in bright light, better focus across group photos, more genuine background separation, and fewer images that look like the phone processed the life out of them. Apple has not officially confirmed it. But if this final leak is accurate, the biggest camera upgrade may not be another megapixel number. It may be a tiny moving opening inside the lens. Something you will never see, but something you may notice every time the camera gets the photo right without making it look fake.